welcome and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I am gonna be doing part 2 to the new series that I started last week, where I build a community lot for every expansion pack. So every other week I'll spin this wheel, and whatever expansion pack we get, I need to build a community lot for Sims to enjoy, which either incorporates a theme, aspiration, skill, hobby, or rabbit hole from the pack. So let's spin the wheel for this week and see what we got. So as you can see, we got Love Struck for this week, and I am excited about getting Love Struck, but it was quite difficult coming up with what I wanted to do for this lot. Not necessarily what the build would look like, but more so what it would incorporate, because Love Struck actually didn't come with a lot aside from the whole, romance things that it came with. And so that was quite the struggle. But before I get too far and forget, please consider subscribing and also liking this video if you do enjoy it, and also you would like to see more of my content, and stick around for this series. And yes, so I was thinking about what can I do for it. So first I was thinking maybe I can do like an office space for the romantic consultant. What do you call this? A matchmaker? Yes, like an office for the matchmaker, like a very well-known matchmaker, like she's very successful and stuff, that trope of she gets everyone together but she's struggling with her own love life, kind of like a thing like that. And I might do it because I kind of have the itch to do it. However, that's not really gonna give community lot, because I would do it like with an office space and then with an apartment at the top. I feel like it would be more of a residential lot, because also there is not the aspect there of people actually visiting you in that career, I think, for like romantic advice and so on. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that is part of the career. I'm going to play through the career a little bit after this video is posted. But then I was like kind of brainstorming with my sister, and we were Googling, and Google kind of gave the idea that for a date night we can do outdoor cinema. So that is what I'm going to do today. So on this lot, we are building on a 30 by 30 lot, and the lot is called Media Naranja, I think. And I guess it makes sense with the media in there that it is called, or that this is an outdoor cinema. And then I was thinking of renaming it to Real Romance, because we were kind of also Googling about names that I can give this place. So Real, but not spelled R-E-A-L, spelled R-E-E-L. So like a movie reel. So that's what I think I'm going to be naming it. And then on this lot, I managed to fit in this, what you currently see me building right now is like a gift shop. And then you saw that I made like a fake ticket counter in the front over there, and then I'm going to place the entrance kiosk there in a minute. And then we obviously have the space for the outdoor cinema, and I'm using movie hangout stuff for that outdoor cinema. And then I also managed to fit in a bar and a food court, and then there's like a other little area where I place down the Who's Up party game from Love Struck, just to bring more aspects of this pack into it, because you can kind of see that I'm incorporating things from other packs. So for example, I'm running this lot with businesses and hobbies. I use things like the main theme of movie hangout stuff pack for the cinema idea, and then using the whole, I guess this lot fits with the theme of Love Struck, which is, dating, romance, finding your love and having fun with them, I guess, or getting to know them rather. So the reason why also it was quite difficult to come up with a theme or like a what I wanted to do for this pack is because I recently, I think it may not be recent, and maybe a few months ago, time moves so quickly, but I built a big lot for Love Struck, and it was meant for, like, it was exactly the kind of challenge that I'm doing right now. It's what I was trying to do with that build, which was to create a date night spot that was unique to Ciudad Enamorada and kind of spoke to its culture and its colorfulness and so on. So I kind of already did what I'm doing now back then, and so that one was so detailed and, like I said, so colorful. And it also had a jewelry store, a jewelry store, flower shop, karaoke bar, cafe, and then like apartments. So that was just when businesses and hobbies came out that I put that video out. So if you do want to see that one, I will link it up in the cards, and then I think I'll include the link in the description as well. So that was also why it was difficult for me to come up, because I recently did that, you know. But I did try and make this one a bit different, but still unique to Ciudad Enamorada. So you can kind of see I'm using the flat roof that you see a lot in this world. I don't know if you see it in this area, because currently this is like the park area. You see it more in the other colorful side of Ciudad Enamorada, but I kind of wanted to bring that in here to still kind of tie it back to the world. And then what I did, like I said, was the gift shop, and now I'm doing the kind of like a food court. But the reason why we're moving over from the gift shop is because when I come back and decorate the gift shop at the end, I'm going to add other details to the outside as well. So for the food court, I wanted it to look a bit separate from the rest of the lot. But the thing is, with what I'm doing right now, I did not like how the paints would, the flooring was different from one another, but they kind of sat at the same level. So later on, I'm gonna raise this section up on a platform just to create some separation as well. And then I also drew these like planter boxes with half holes. I've been doing that a lot because I just prefer, you know, doing this rather than using the planters that we maybe do have in game already. So I'm placing down a lot of the plants that we have from Romantic Garden stuff. I think they are so pretty and I love the colors of those plants. So I first started off with a hedge that we got in one of the events, the Christmas event of last year, and then I placed down the thistle or something bushes from Romantic Garden stuff, and then also the other plants from Romantic Garden stuff, and then that tree that you see there is from the live edit objects for Love Struck, so you can see it in the world. I wanted to keep the trees similar to what's in the rest of the park, because like I said, this is in the middle of that park area, so I just wanted to make it blend in a bit more with the rest of this park. And then here I placed on these 3 vendor stalls. The one is from Home Chef Hustle, the one is from Eco Lifestyle, I think, and then the other one is from Snowy Escape. And they kind of serve different things. So what I realized when I was playtesting this lot, I did run it as a small business with businesses and hobbies, and then I set the business activities as be romantic, browse and buy items, watch movies on TV, and then play Who's Up party games, and then also eat. And I actually realized that when I hired vendors for these market stalls, I made more money than when I did not have the market stalls open. And also on the other side of it, less Sims would watch movies though if these vendor stalls were open, because Sims love to eat, so they would be here eating. I did include some screenshots at the end showing Sims like playing around in the build, or not playing around in the build but visiting the build and stuff like that, and that it was so nice to seeing them sit down in this area and eating and having conversations and then going to watch the movies after. It was so cute. So I do have a reel coming out, or a short coming out on my shorts tab that you can see if you want to see how Sims kind of like interacted with this build a bit more. And so yes, I did notice that by hiring the vendors, I did make more money, and I made quite a bit of money. Like, this business is very profitable even in the starting stages. And then also I just, you know, to see like the overall profit, I would then subtract the amount of simoleons. It's like 300 simoleons from the total profit I would make at the end of the day, and I would still make quite a nice profit. So I don't think it's too bad that you have to hire vendors to run these market stalls, because in the activities lists for businesses and hobbies, it does not include that you can make employees run these stalls, which I think is a missed opportunity. So it would have been nice if employees could have ran the stalls, but it's fine. So you just hire the vendors, they come, and then I think they stay for like a few hours, and then you have to hire new ones. But like I said, you make enough profit to kind of cover how much you would pay for these vendors. So that is the outside area. or the food court. I kind of spoke over that whole thing, but as you saw, it was very simple. I just placed that long table in the middle because I wanted something in the middle. I felt like it was very empty. And then I used also the benches, the bench seating, I think from City Living. And then the lights that I placed in the planter boxes that I created with the half-walls, those round lights are from My Wedding Stories. So that was all really for the food court. So now we have moved on to the bar area. I placed down this, what do you call this thing? The covering thing at the top. I can't get to it. I will eventually get to it, I think. Place that down and then just put a bar with counters like flush to the thing that I can't remember at the moment. And then just placed it all around the other side so that I could place chairs on it. I was going to place like a boba tea counter here first, but I could not place chairs on the boba tea counter, and I really wanted to place chairs. But then I thought about it afterwards, and I actually could have included the boba tea counter on like the sides, and then have where I currently have the bar, I could have had counters and then have chairs on them. But that's okay. There's already a lot going on in the build, so I think it's fine that it's maybe not a boba tea counter. And also just maybe to bring a little bit more of an adult experience to this, you know, dating space that I'm creating, a bar is more fitting than maybe a boba tea counter, because you'll see that the decorations for this outdoor cinema is very playful. It's not a very serious dating spot. Like, you're not getting dressed up, you know, like really fancy to come here and watch movies. Like, this is a cute date night idea, if you get what I mean. So here you can see I used this rainbow arch from, I think it's Get Famous. And then at the back, I'm using the trees from Movie Hangout stuff because of the lights that it has on it. One thing that was very important for this build for me was that it looked really pretty at night. So you'll actually realize that when I show the screenshots at the end, most of them are in the nighttime, but because I think it looks so much better in the nighttime, it just comes alive. It's still pretty during the day, but the nighttime is definitely where it's at with this build. And so with the rainbow arch, right, I was like, this is making it look really playful and kid-like, but I just liked it so much with the rainbow arch that I refused to remove it, and I was gonna find a way to make it work. And also, you know, there are other spaces that you would go into for cute date nights that are not necessarily decorated in the most mature way. I think that's a good way of saying it. Like, for example, I love going to the arcade, and arcades are not necessarily, you know, decorated in a mature way. I would definitely come to this outdoor cinema with my husband, so I was like, okay, it's fine, let's just leave the rainbow arch, because I was definitely gonna remove it at one point, but I really liked it, and it's, like I said, even better at night. So what I did to create like the step down, so first I tried it with foundation, or not foundation rather, but with the terrain tools to kind of take out this part of the flooring or drag it down, but that was creating so much complication. So, and it was very difficult to get it to look neat. If you've ever used the terrain tools, they can be a bit finicky. So then afterwards I tried something else. Oh yes, I tried it with a basement. So then I drew a basement under this section and then raised the basement up so that it would sit at the level that you're currently seeing. But I can't remember what that did that I didn't like either. So I kind of cut that from the video, because I did try that first on video, and then rather I used platforms. So you would have seen in the beginning of the video, I kind of drew platforms down here, and then I dragged the platform down to sit at this level, and that worked out a lot better than any of the other options that I was kind of using. And then here I wanted to create, like, you know, a pretty section around this rainbow arch. It was looking so out of place with having nothing around it. So I placed a few plants, same plants that I've been using, you know, in the planter boxes and whatever. The only new plant that you see there is one from Enchanted by Nature. And then I used some Pace Game greenery as well. At the back, I did forget that wall, to paint that wall, but don't worry, I caught it and I did actually paint the back wall. And then I used those lights again from Wedding Stories, and I changed the colors of those lights to be more pink, purple, blue, which you can kind of tell is the color scheme for this entire build. And so you'll see that when you go into the build at night, those lights are the colors of, you know, whatever colors you see me repeating around the bowl. And then what I'm doing with the Love Struck paneling right now that you see me place on this platform is I'm just sizing it down and then lining them up. I didn't like the platform that I had to place there because I wanted a platform with an overhang, and none of them are like stark white. They're this gray ugly white, so I used that to kind of cover it up. And then I placed a sign on it from the base game. And then because they are paneling, they kind of look rough on the edges, or like just like not complete on the edges. So I found this podium kind of table thing from, I think it's from Get Famous, and I just placed it on the edges, which kind of cleaned it up a bit more. But yes, and then the TV that I used is from Movie Hangout. Now I didn't need to build this entire thing around this TV because it is an outdoor TV. You can use it for that purpose, but I just wanted something to frame the TV a bit more and give it that main feature look. So that's why I did that. And then I wanted to place down these blankets that we got from Lovestruck, so you can woo in that blankets, you can have picnics on those blankets, you can sit on those blankets. I thought that was quite cute, so that even if your sim does not come here to watch movies, you can kind of have them have a picnic on this blanket. And then there's this mod by Missouri Yuki, which is called the Turn On TV mod, and that allows the TV to be turned on. Like, you can turn it on, you don't need a sim to be watching the TV for it to be on. So you can have the TV in the background on and then have a picnic on these blankets. And then most sims kind of prefer to sit. Some of them kind of were sitting on their knees on the blanket and so on, but most of them prefer to kind of sit in the chair or the chairs. I placed down the bean bags from high school years, I think, and then those other chairs, I'm not sure which bag they are from, but currently I am just placing some pillows around because I kind of wanted it to look more cozier. So I used this pillow from the base game, and then I used the tool mod to rotate it so that it was laying down so that I can place them, you know, around the area. I'm also using the tool mod to drag the pillows into place, just because when I was trying to put it into place normally, it was snapping to the blanket because for some reason these pillows snap to surfaces. It also snaps to counters, tables, and whatever. So that's why you kind of see me dragging it with the tool mod. And the way to do that is you will hold Alt while kind of clicking on the place that you want the cushion to go to, but holding Alt kind of makes it move slower instead of just placing it on the place that you're clicking. I hope that makes sense. And then I also use this meditation poof from Spade just for a different cushion or pillow. And then I placed a pillow kind of slanted on that meditation poof from Spade, and it can actually still be used. The only thing is, because I sized it up, it looks like the sim is sitting in the cushion instead of on it, which is fine. I didn't intend for it to be used. I wanted it there merely for decoration. And then here I had this section on the side that I really did not know what I wanted to do with that section. And so I started off with putting this waterfall or fountain on this side. It's a fountain. And then just placing plants on either side of that. And then I did draw like a fountain in the middle, just so that it looks like the water is somewhere else to go to. And so I was going to do it on that side first, but then I thought everything is kind of on that side at the moment, you know. Even the cinema section or the outdoor TV section that I created is on that side. So it would be better to rather place it on this side, just to, I guess, give the bold some dimension and different angles that you have different things to look at. And so I decided to shift it on this side. And then there you see I'm using the lights again from My Wedding Stories. And I forgot to mention, I think, that the TV that I used is from outdoor. No, I think I did mention that. It's from Movie Hangout stuff. And you get a similar one from the backyard camp, or no, the little campers kit, I think it's called. And that would be actually less expensive if you want an outdoor cinema for your Sims. Then instead of getting Movie Hangout stuff, which is a stuff pack, you get the little campers kit, and there is like a projector screen in that as well that you can place outside. So if you want options. And then there you can see I placed down 2 tables and then chairs with the Who's Up party game. Yeah. And then I just placed down that light on the fencing, the grass fencing, or the, what do you call that fencing? I don't know, but you saw me place that light on there. That light is from Love Struck as well, I think. And I just wanted, I don't know, I just felt like it fit there. And also I don't really know if you would place that light on that kind of fencing, the green fencing or the grass fencing, but I liked it against the grass. I was going to put like a partition or a divider there and then place a sign on that, but I actually liked how it looked against the grass, so I left it that way. Here you see I'm coming back now, and we're just going to do some detailing on this gift shop build. And I use this flower decoration or hanging flowers decoration, which is from it's Blooming Rooms or Romantic Garden Stuff, one of the two. And then I also use these lights that we got, the string lights that we got from Businesses and Hobbies, just to outline anywhere that I placed signage on the wall. And here you can see I'm doing it with this side as well. So the idea is that front section would be like the fake ticket counter, and then you would also pay the entrance fee over there, so it kind of makes sense to have it there. And then on this side is the entrance to the gift shop. So with the entrance fees, I did notice that Sims were more reluctant to pay just a flat fee to come in. For some reason they were more open to paying per hour, and so I actually also made more money by having them pay per hour. So that was good. Like I said, this business is very lucrative. Even in the early stages of the business, it was very lucrative. And then on the other side of the build that I was busy with before, where those 2 big windows are, I just placed some wall art that we got from high school years. It has popcorn, so that was really perfect because you can actually get popcorn in this gift shop. And then I also placed down a light that we got from Businesses and Hobbies, which is the martini glasses. That's just to kind of speak to the bar area. And then whatever I placed on that side, I also did on this side of the bowl that you see me doing now. But I think I cut that out because there was something else that I was doing in between that was kind of actually catching on nonsense, honestly, and just made the video a lot longer than it needed to be. So if you see that it's on the side, just know it's because it didn't really make it into this video. And then here I'm just creating a section for the movie posters. Now something that I did find so cute is that whenever a sim came in this build, they would actually view the movie posters, and based on that they would decide whether they would come in or not, which I don't know if that is like what they were doing, but that's what it looked like they were doing. So I'm actually really glad that I placed that over there. I was going to place it in this really open part that you see me busy in now, like a column with all of the posters on, but I decided against that because I felt like it was too in the way of everything. So I placed it on the front of the build, and it actually worked out well because now it literally looks like Sims are deciding whether they want to watch a movie or not. And then here I just created a sign kind of like what movies are on show this week, and I use the signage board from Dine Out, and then I use these movie posters, which I think maybe from Get Famous, I don't know where the movie posters are from. And then I use the string lights again because, like I said, lighting was very important in this build. I wanted every part of this build to be lit up and to look really pretty at night, because that's when I imagine Sims would come here for their dates. And then I'm gonna move on to a different part of this build where I'm gonna be placing down a sign, like a toilet sign, or indicating where the bathrooms are, because the bathrooms are actually in the back of this build. I'm currently moving on to that right now. I wanted there to be movement all around the build, so instead of creating a space or a door entryway for the bathroom inside of the gift shop, I created an entryway for the bathroom at the back of the gift shop. So What you see me doing now was very tedious. It took so long just to get that male and female sign to be placed on the sign, because it doesn't actually snap to it, which I think it should have snapped to it. So I was literally moving it back and forth. I want to say I struggled with it for about 10 or 15 minutes just to get them placed on there nicely. Or maybe that's a bit dramatic, but it did take a long time, which is why you saw me transition there to the final thing. But I was just once again moving it with the tool mod, holding Alt to get it sitting properly on that signage. And I think it was worth it. I think so, but you know, I did get it to a place where it looked like it was actually part of that sign that we got with businesses and hobbies. And then there you can kind of see the layout for this build. It's very open on the front section. There aren't really rooms there, but this back section is where I'm going to put the bathroom, because like I said, I wanted there to be movement all around the build, and so that's why I decided to create the entrance on the back of the kind of this structure that you see me busy with right now. And then I used the bathroom stalls from Discover University, and then Orders high school years also come with a bathroom stall, because it might be from either of those two packs. All of the packs are starting to look the same to me now, and so I'm really struggling to remember which one is which. There are some objects that I know because I use, just because of how much I use them, I know where they come from, but there are other objects that I'm still learning, obviously. So that was the bathroom. It was really quickly, just place those 3 stalls in there, and then three sinks, which are from Discover University. I use the not Discover University, Dream Home Decorator, sorry. And then I use the lights also, the cupcake lights from Dream Home Decorator, I think, as well. And then the mirror is from Spa Day that I used in there, the long mirror. Actually, both mirrors are from Spa Day that I used in the bathroom. Now I'm busy with what is the last part of this build, and I'm creating a counter section. Now this can either be a self-service station, or this will be where you sell your sweets and popcorn from. So you can see at the back there, I placed down the sweet maker or the treats maker machine, and then also the popcorn machine. And you can set in your business or your small business activities for Sims to make and eat sweet treats, and then also make and eat popcorn, and then they'll come in here and do it themselves, or you can have your employees do that. And another option is what I did. I placed down a gate so that they, like regular customers, couldn't get to those machines, and then only, you know, employees could get there to make the treats and the popcorn, and then sell it in those shelves, and then employees would kind of have no choice but to buy them from the shelves. However, the gate, I don't know if it really worked, because I did spot a customer getting popcorn from the machine. So I mean, it depends on how you want to run the business, whether you want to have your employee making the treats and then them buying the treats, or whether they will come in here and make their own treats and then go out and watch the movies with those treats, which they actually did. They would come in here, collect jelly beans or popcorn, and then they would go sit down by the TV. They also did that with the food items that they got from the food court. So I thought that was really cute. But you do get a service fee, and I think that if they are making their own treats and then popcorn, that would kind of add to the service fee. So I don't think you would lose out either way, you know, in terms of money. And then at the back there, I just placed down a few things that I guess was like popcorn spice and plates and stuff, because for some reason in this game you get popcorn in a bowl, which I don't know why they couldn't just make a popcorn like bag that you usually get it in when you go to movies and stuff. Anyways, who knows? Just like the same with the jelly beans and the sweets that you get with the sweet or the treat making machine, you get it in a bowl, which is just so weird. Why didn't you just, you know, animate a bag? I also don't like those shelves from businesses and hobbies. I like the, like I said, the gameplay that businesses and hobbies provides. I just don't think that these shelves are nice. Like, why couldn't you give us more regular looking shelves? I think these shelves fit really nicely if you're building an art studio and you're selling pottery on these shelves. But for other normal things, I don't think it looks nice. And then here I am trying to make this section functional, even though I placed, you know, that fake ticket counter in the front. So to keep the shelving in the front and not the shelving, but the counters in the front, not have to remove it, but also have some space for other things on the inside. What I just did was I placed another counter over the top of that, and then I sized down the counter that is kind of through the wall just a little bit so that it wouldn't show on the inside. And then you're gonna see later on I'm gonna decorate the shelf over there. Obviously anything that I put on those counters, not shelves, sorry, uh cannot be bought, but I didn't want everything to be buyable in here because you do have to replace everything from build mode if anybody is buying anything in this shop. I wish there was a better way to restock it, like, you know, with the get to work system where it will restock whatever was on that counter before, but with businesses and hobbies, for some reason you need to restock it from build mode, which is a little bit impractical, but I still think that businesses and hobbies does work better. I do wish that they would have animated using a cash register, or at least using, you know, like with the iPad in Get to Work, which the cash register isn't even functional in Get to Work, not really at least. I do wish they would have made the effort to animate that, because like using a cash register is so, it looks so cute, and it just would have been cute if they did that, but they didn't. So I guess that's fine. So the cash register in the front is obviously just there for nothing, basically, as it is always. And then the items that really sold out a lot in this build is that octopus that you saw me place in the corner, and then also the brown bear with a heart that you saw me place in the window. Sims loved those things, and they came in here and they bought it up every single time. And then in this middle section, I wanted to use these love cards, or these cards from the seasons pack, and so I placed those in the middle. And then here I thought that the window outside looked a bit boring, so I felt like I would come in and kind of create a window display of the different items that you could come and buy your significant other in this, or your sim significant other in this shop. And so I just placed a few of the items that you could find in the shop on those windows, but I used a different shelf. That shelf that I'm currently placing items on is from Get Famous, and then they could only buy, you know, what's at the bottom. The penguins at the bottom is on the business and hobby shelves, which once again I used the shelf from Get Famous so that not everything would be sold out and you wouldn't need to replace every single thing in the shop. And then just to fill up the counters, I had my sim create all of the sweet treats and stuff, which you see me placing down right now. And then I am gonna have to make a few more because I actually ran out, because I have that shelf in the corner as well on the other side that needed to be filled. And then yeah, I had this open space on the shelf. I didn't even realize that I had it open, and so I placed down these bottles, which is what you use to actually make the sweet treats, on those shelves, and you can find those in debug. And then the final thing that I'm going to do of importance is I'm going to place down the boba tea statue. It's like a monkey statue. However, the monkey is holding boba and we're not selling boba anyway in the shop. And so I replaced that with a bouquet in his hand. But that is all for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and you like the build. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any other ideas, please consider popping those in the comments for any upcoming expansion packs. And if you would like to download this build, you can find it on the gallery under SimWithMishka or hashtag SimWithMishka. And also please don't forget to like this video and consider subscribing if you would like to be here for the rest of the series. Thank you so much for being here, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.